Welcome to another episode of Football Scientific with me, Aaron Sauter. I'm a writer for FootballAnalysisOne.com. I cover the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFL. I also cover the Hamilton Ticats of the CFL, Canadian Football League. We also on Football Scientific talk about the IFL, the NAL, the UFL, and the ELF, European League of Football. So today we're just going to go through and kind of wrap up the weekend of football. We're going on vacation, so we'll see what kind of videos we'll get put out. Otherwise, Thursday we'll come back and we'll do Thursday predictions for the CFL. They have an opening game on Thursday, and then also the IFL is a game on Thursday night as well. So we're going to wrap everything up, and then we'll see what that looks like. Okay. I'm joined by my guest host, Tyler the Tiger. Everybody there, Tyler the Tiger's in the house. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's go. Okay, so first in the NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers have more trouble with TJ Watt. TJ Watt says the Steelers offer they gave him is good, but not as good as he wants. So he's giving them Trey Hendrickson a treatment. That's good. At least we're not the only ones. Come on, Bengals, get it together. That's not a good time for Bengals, this. Las Vegas Raiders, offense coordinator Chip Kelly, formerly of Ohio State, formerly of UCLA, formerly of... He doesn't like Ashton Jeanty's stance. He says, you're not an athlete, bruh. We drafted a non-athlete. He's already picking on Ashton Jeanty. Trade him to Cincinnati. Pay plus. Boom. Cowboy for Trey Hendrickson. That would be a good trade. I would take that. Let's go. Give us Ashton Jeanty for Trey Hendrickson. We'll get that best offense in the league. Let's go, Bengals. We would have the best offense in the league if they ever said it. Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens is claiming that he forced the Steelers to trade him. It wasn't because he was a complete unpleasant dude. Okay. Boom. In the CFL, crazy day in the CFL. Today was roster cuts day. So I'm not going to go through all the roster cuts. That would probably take 20 minutes to go through all the roster cuts, and they're not going to be relevant players. Anyway, the last night before the roster cuts, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they released American wide receiver David Wallace. They added from suspension American wide receiver Cody Case. Calgary St. Peters, who will be facing the Tiger Cats this week in the opening week. Boom, they released National DB Ashton Miller Mellencon, and then they had several guys retire, including Ashton Miller Mellencon, who retired. National offensive line Matthew Stockman retired. National defensive line Max von Moldorfer retired. That eliminated them from being released today. Okay, they had a global wide receiver Tommy Wilson. Boom. And everyone made their cuts today. If you want to see those cuts, I would go to CFL.ca. They have a draft cut or a roster cut tracker, and also CFL News Hub. I wrote about the Tiger Cats cuts there, and everyone else write about cuts too. So you can check it out. CFLNewsHub.com, some breakdown on the cuts, and then also CFL.ca, the official website of the CFL. I'm not going to go through all the cuts. They play starting this weekend. Tiger Cats open up in Calgary. Boom! UFL had its final week. Houston Roughnecks upset the Michigan Panthers 19-12. How did they do it? Well, it wasn't by conventional means. Danny Etling threw an interception. Michigan Panthers threw an interception. Their backup quarterback came in and threw it. Rocky Lombardi came in and threw an interception. That's 2 interceptions. Houston didn't throw an interception, and they had a kick return. They didn't score any offensive touchdowns, man. They had field goals, and they scored a kick return for a touchdown. It was an ugly game. Houston Roughnecks 5-5. Michigan Panthers 6-4. They'll lose next week to Birmingham Stallions. They lost this week 19-12 to Houston Roughnecks. They lose next week, I guarantee it. Okay. Arlington Renegades 23. San Antonio Brahmas 6 as expected. Luis Perez comes out, has a great game, 26-32, throwing 83 yards. He didn't throw 3 touchdowns either. He didn't throw any interceptions either. He did have a rushing touchdown. Holt Nailers came in and went low for 1 and had 1 interception. Perfect record, bro. Good thing your season's over. Teddy Hunter ran the ball 9 times, 47 yards and a touchdown. Pretty lame way to get 23 points. That's because the Brahmas stunk the place up, man. Quarterback Kellen Mond went 17 for 27, 188 yards, but no touchdown, no interceptions. He ran the ball 3 times for 14 yards. Pretty much a waste of space. Jay Sean Corbin went 10 runs for 25 yards. They had 2 field goals, how to get 6 points. Basically, it's just nice the Brahmas season is over with. That was a complete debacle. Can them all. Start over. Move us somewhere. Move us to Nashville. That'd be cool. I live pretty close to Nashville. I'd rather have them in Nashville. Birmingham Stallions They're back in the swing of things. Right in time. Yeah, right in time. Okay, right in time. Birmingham Stallions crushed Memphis Showboats 46-9. They're 7-3. They'll beat Michigan Panthers and they'll lose to the St. Louis Battlehawks. That's my prediction right now. They win the USFL Conference. Beat Michigan Panthers. They lose to the St. Louis Battlehawks because that's what's good for business. Not the best football. That's why I quit covering this league, man. It's a joke. It's like the AF1. Trash. Okay, J.Mar Smith threw for 127 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Anthony Pearsall came in, 9-14, 93 yards. Ricky Person Jr. had 2 touchdowns. Larry Roundtree had 34 yards and a touchdown. They dominated. Amari Rogers finally had a touchdown. He's horrible. Memphis Showboats. Dylan Wynn had 130 yards passing with 2 interceptions. And that's just pretty much wraps the day up. Memphis Showboats are done. Thank you. IFL had some crazy outcomes yesterday. First, San Diego Strike Force played the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and they won. But not by conventional methods, man. They didn't even play Nate Davis at quarterback. Rudy Johnson came in, 6 for 12, 7 for 77 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 21 rushes, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 interceptions, should have lost the game, man. Should have lost the game. But Northern Arizona Wranglers just couldn't put it together. Ramon Atkins came in with 19 for 27 for 1 touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. They should have won the game, honestly. They just couldn't put it together enough. Pretty much, San Diego Strike Force win 35-32 because they're slightly better on defense. That's it. Okay, I did predict Strike Force would win that game. San Antonio Gunslingers beat the Tucson Sugar Skulls. They're now 3-6 and 3-5 to compete for a playoff spot. San Antonio's back into it for the most part because San Diego's 3-6 or whatever. So San Antonio's back into it a little bit. Their quarterback, Joaquin Colasso, went 12 for 17, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ran the ball 12 times for 45 yards and a touchdown. Kali Rashad had 10 runs, 50-something yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defense came out and balled out. Defense balled out for San Antonio Gunslingers. That's not normal for them. Tucson Sugar Skulls pretty much laid an egg, and they got beat 48-28. Sugar Skulls are not a playoff team. I predicted Gunslingers make the playoffs. They might still pull it together. I don't know how they'll do that. It's been a debacle of the season for them, too. It's been a bad time for San Antonio. Vegas Nighthawks upset the Arizona Rattlers. Been that kind of week. Vegas Nighthawks came out. They started Jaden Delore at quarterback. He went for 11 for 17, 108 yards and 4 touchdowns. 41 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. Ran the ball 6 times for 7 yards and a touchdown. Antonio Winbush caught 3 passes, 21 yards and a touchdown. Also ran the ball 10 times for 72 yards and a touchdown. They had a group effort from Quentin Randolph and C.J. Wyndham at receiver, scoring touchdowns. Arizona Rattlers came out. They didn't play bad. Dalton Snead came out, went 14 for 32. That's a lot of incompletions for 163 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions. They ran the ball 6 times. Ron Brown had 1 catch for a touchdown. Ran the ball 11 times. It just seemed like the Rattlers didn't play their best game. They didn't play their best game and they got beat. That's what happens in the IFL. You don't play your best game, you get beat. They didn't do anything dramatic to lose the game. They just didn't play their best game. Vegas looked more motivated. Okay, NAL is finally over. The last week of the regular season is here. Going back to the UFL. This week will be the championship games. USFL championship game will be Birmingham Stallions hosting the Michigan Panthers, in case you didn't know that. 7-3 and 6-4. Stallions will win. Probably with a dramatic comeback, so it seems like Panthers had a chance. XFL Conference, Battlehawks will play against DC Defenders. Battlehawks will win in a nail-biter. Then they'll beat the Birmingham Stallions in a nail-biter. It'll be a nail-biter all the way. That's my predictions. That's the rest of the season for the UFL. We'll see how it plays out. In the NAL, a little upset. Willie Miners, they made some changes at quarterback and stuff. They won 47-44 for Columbus Lions. They are done, though. Columbus Lions are in the playoffs. American Conference, 47-44. I don't think they're expecting to lose that game, especially at home. So that's probably bad news for them. Although I think they're going to beat the Beaumont Renegades in a dramatic turnaround. You would think so. It's just the energy I get from this NAL right now. Beaumont Renegades beat Shreveport Rougarou 63-12. Ouch. Rougarou do play Dallas for us next week because of the fight they had before, but a lot of their team's gone, man. Beaumont Renegades 8-1, 63-12. They are probably you would think they're going to be the best team in the American Conference and play the Omaha Beef. I don't think so. It's me, Columbus Lions, y'all. Omaha Beef. Speaking of the Beef, they played the Colorado Spartans. I figured this would be a blowout, but Omaha Beef and Colorado Spartans played a tight game, 35-34. So that's way closer than I thought it would be. Omaha won, though, as expected. So that sets up a big matchup next week in the National Conference Championship. We got Colorado Spartans traveling to Omaha Beef. I predict Omaha Beef blow them out this next time. It was close this time because they weren't trying to show their hand. American Division, we got Columbus Lions traveling to Beaumont Renegades. I predict Columbus Lions win that, and it'll be Columbus Lions, Omaha Beef. Omaha Beef win by a mile. That's my predictions. In the ELF, week 3, a couple upsets. Prague Lions that destroyed the Favre and Throners 40-0. Wasn't expecting that. Steve Cellar dwellers. But obviously, Lions are much better than Favre, especially as a road game. Tough, man. Okay, big win by Prague. T-Roll Raiders blew out the Cologne Centurions 68-0. Cologne's going to be strapping for a win, man. They're 0-2. They're strapping for a win. T-Roll Raiders are 2-1. They're in the playoff mix. It's week 3 of a 16-week season. It's too early, but whatever. Stuttgart Surge bounced back from getting shut out last week. They passed the ball for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 98 yards. They ran the ball for. That's not enough to win the game. I don't know. Hamburg Sea Devils ran the ball or passed the ball for 107 yards. That's not great. 2 touchdowns. They did run the ball, 130 passing yards. Now I do say I have a theory that when you win the running game, you're going to win the game. It's behind me. If you win the running game, you're going to win the game. Boop. They're at the top. Run the ball. If you win the running game, you win the game. But that doesn't happen if that happens. Interceptions. Okay. So they threw 3 interceptions. And that's how they lost the game. 53 to a little bit, 27 or something, 12. I don't know. Either way, Stuttgart Surge are back up there. They're showing they can score on offense. Hamburg Sea Devils are not going to be a playoff team. I don't think so. Athletic Mercenaries are 0-3 after they got beat by Madrid Bravos this week. Spoiler alert: Madrid threw the ball, turned 82 times. Rick Reed Sinet threw the ball, turned 82 yards and 5 touchdowns. He did 1 interception. They ran the ball for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a good, well-rounded offense. Athletic Mercenaries did not play as bad as I expected them to. They did draw the ball for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Weeds coming along a little bit. They ran the ball 151 times for 2 touchdowns. They got outrushed. They should lose the game, and they lose 47-35. But they competed really well, scoring 35 against a good team like Madrid. That's a good game by Helvetic. They're coming around a little bit. Okay, Paris Musketeers coming up their shutout against the Frankfurt Galaxy. I predicted Galaxy would win in a shootout, and guess what happened? Boom, a shootout. Frankfurt Galaxy threw for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That could spell defeat, but they ran the ball for 207 rushing yards, so they should win this game. Only 1 touchdown. Paris Musketeers, 246 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 164 yards rushing and a touchdown. Wasn't enough for Paris. They lose 29-27. Crazy game. The rushing yards paid off for Frankfurt. I always say, if you win the running game, you're going to win the game. It's right there. Win the running game, you're going to win the game. Boom, right there. Stop the run if you want to win. Stop the run. Force fumbles, interceptions if you want to win. Okay? Boom, we saw the stats are being backed up right here in front of you. Okay? Berlin Thunder, they played Nordic Storm. They got, they were really good against Cologne Centurions. You know why? Because Cologne Centurions are trash. Berlin Thunder has not played that well since then. They got beat by the Nordic Storm 35-0. Nordic Storm threw the ball for 285 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jadarian Clark ran the ball for 126 yards, 1 touchdown with that. Glenn Tunga. Berlin Thunder, they are a trash can heap. 126 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 32 rushing yards. That's not good. Nordic Storm win, asserting their dominance over the Berlin Thunder. Vienna Vikings, Ryan Fire, rematch the L championship game from last year. Guess what? Vienna Vikings win the game. They beat the Ryan Fire this time around. 12-7. Okay, they threw for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The interception could be in business, except for they ran for 123 yards without Kari Parjurinen. So Ryan Fire threw for 77 yards and a touchdown. They only rushed for 74 yards. They lose the game. That's how it goes down, y'all. You run the ball, you win the game. It's written right behind me, okay? Offensively, you run the ball. Running yards is better than passing yards, okay? For the most part, unless you have fumbles or interceptions, or you score field goals instead of touchdowns. Those are all ways to lose if you run the ball and win the game running the ball. Keys of defense: you got to stop the run, you got to force fumbles, you got to cause interceptions, and you got to make sure you keep people out of the end zone, man. You got to keep them out of the end zone. That's how you win games, every level, not just NFL, not just ELF, not CFL. That's how you predict who's going to win the games, man. That's how you figure this out, okay? So that's the weekend of football. Going on vacation. We may talk about the power rankings. We're not going to talk about NAL power rankings. That's irrelevant. They're in the playoffs. We're not about UFL power rankings. That's irrelevant. They're in the playoffs. Okay, we'll talk about IFL power rankings and ELF power rankings. It's too early to talk about CFL power rankings. First games are this weekend. We'll see how it really plays out for reals. Roster cuts are on CFL.ca and CFL News Hub. Check them out. I did a run about Hamilton Tiger Cats roster cuts. So we'll see how that looks. And check out footballanalysis1.com for more football content about the NFL. All right, so that is Football Scientific for today, Sunday edition. Hope you have a great day. And Football Scientific is out.